Welcome, everybody. You are listening to Patty G Show. I am your host, Patrick Gremillion. I have Matthew Laborde or Laborde?
Laborde.
Laborde. I have Matthew Laborde of Elifin Realty on. We are in their downtown complex here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Yes.
And so, Matthew, thank you so very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for coming here.
I appreciate it. It's a very cool building you've got here.
Thank you, man.
I just noticed the ceiling now, so that's really adds a little different element. But so we're here to discuss Elifin. So what is Elifin Realty?
Elifin is a commercial real estate brokerage firm based here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And so we serve the whole Baton Rouge MSA and really South Louisiana in general.
Okay. So what makes you, I guess, different from the rest of them? I mean, I see your signs all over Baton Rouge. Like, how are you going about? Like, what's your tactic for going out and getting those properties and then listing them?
Yeah, I think it's hard work and it's our team approach. They're the two biggest differentiators. So we do a lot of cold calling.
Okay.
We make a lot of calls. Last year we made 10,012 calls. And we set up a lot of meetings and we're shaking a lot of hands, getting in front of people, and everybody in here works as a team. So we have a shared database, shared Rolodex. All the information is available to be found by any team member, which is very unique for commercial real estate brokerage. Typically, since you're all independent contractors, typically the guy and the girl in the office next to each other is competing against each other. And it's a lot different atmosphere here.
Okay. So how did you go about creating that atmosphere that's so different from everyone else?
Yeah, just by bringing in really smart, talented people that see the big picture and see how that benefits them. And so if you have everybody with the same mindset, then it's easy to do, and they realize the benefit of it.
Right. Because then it's like you said, it's not your average commercial real estate firm where everybody's competing against each other. So how was it, sculpting that team? Like, was there, whenever they came to interview for the job position, did you have to kind of lay it out for them in the front, or was it kind of they picked up as they were learning here?
I think people pretty much picked it up as they go. I mean, I think that's why they were attracted to Elifin in the first place. I think we met on LinkedIn, right?
Right.
Yes. And so I put a lot out there on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And so every agent that works here, it's not like they submitted a resume or anything. It's like we met through other ways, or they approached me, and I think they did that because of what we were building here at Elifin. So they were attracted by what we were building, and so that made it really easy.
Right. Well, you were building an attractive agency.
I guess so, huh?
Well, because this is not your typical space or your typical agency for a real estate firm.
Right.
You've had this very entrepreneurial feel and vibe throughout the whole thing that you might get in like a Seattle or something.
Maybe so.
It's way outside of Baton Rouge comfort zone. Just from what I'm seeing here, is very similar to something on the coastline.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think we're doing something unique, so it's good.
So why did you get into real estate?
Why did I get into real estate? So in high school, I don't think I read one book in high school, except I had a English teacher that really wanted me to read something to get AR points. So throwback to the past. But she said, why don't you read a book about something you're interested in? I said, all right, well, I'm interested in business. And I ended up reading Donald Trump's Start of the Deal.
Okay.
So I'd read that. It's a good book if you haven't read it, and got interested in real estate and never looked back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, well, what drove you into real estate outside of just normal businesses?
So the book is about real estate, right? And it's about developing and making deals, and so and owning property, and so I was attracted by that aspect of it. And so when I got to LSU, I decided I just wanted to get my foot in the door.
Right.
So I reached out to a bunch of real estate firms. There's sort of a low barrier of entry to become a real estate agent. So I saw that as a good avenue to get started, and I went in that direction, and here I am.
Very cool. So did you end up working for any of these firms, or did you just, look out there and say, oh, I can do this better by myself?
Yeah. So I worked when I was going out looking for a job, I
Right.
went to 6 or so different firms, right? And I went there, I was 19, dressed in a tie, looked sharp, had my resume in hand, and I went to them and I said, look, I want to work for free. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I'll clean toilets, I'll do whatever. I just want to work for free because I just want to be near this and learn. And most of them, I couldn't get anybody to call me back. Nobody.
Wow.
Yeah.
For free working?
Free. I was young, eager, I would literally do anything. And finally, I'm a 6th or 7th person, David Vertra, Keller Williams, he said, okay, you're hired, and I'm not going to let you work for free. I'll pay you $100 a week. So I worked 40 hours a week, got $100 a week, being his assistant, and then a month or 2 later, got my license. And then a year later, I went to a firm called Bobox. Was there for 6.5 years, and after being there a while, being top producer over there, started Elifin.
Very cool. And how were they with you wanting to leave and essentially go compete against them?
That's a great question. The on-air version, they were great. They were great. I got a hug. Was offered to, they offered to be an investor in the company. It was very warm and fuzzy. Initially. Okay. There's always when you're talking about business and you're dealing with competitive people, there's always going to be that competition.
Right.
I think when it sets in that you're now a competitor, that's when it's like, oh, wait, okay, let's think about what we're doing here.
So they had to initially reevaluate their whole strategy.
Maybe reevaluate a little bit, position themselves. Yeah, think about how they can position themselves to win, because that's what competitive people want to do.
Right, and like you said, you were a top producing agent there, so they had a winner on their team who's now going off and doing something on their own, which is straight competition.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's an interesting topic that a lot of people, or a lot of young entrepreneurs, they want to think about is when do they make that leap from the corporate to their own? So was there a point in time that you knew, I've got to make the shift?
Yeah.
Or was it just kind of so gradual that you're like, I've been doing so much on my own without their supervision, I think I can kind of do this by myself?
I never wanted to start my own thing.
Really?
At all. Not at all. No. I was totally, there's a lot that goes into it. It's not the easiest thing in the world,
Absolutely.
And I was really, I was at a great firm. It was with, some great people. I learned a ton from it. Really things set up for me. But there came a certain point where I felt like that not everybody was working, not everybody wanted me to be as successful as I wanted to be. And so when I found that to be the case, then I decided, look, it's time to make a change. Plus, a month before that, somebody took me to lunch and they said God told them to take me to lunch and tell me I need to start my own business.
Wow.
So that was pretty powerful.
Yeah, that's divine intervention right
That's
there.
right. That's right.
Okay, so going from there, what was your first step? How did you get this started?
I brainstormed a little bit, but I had a lady named Sue Miley, who is a business consulting coach, and it was just me, by myself starting the business. So I had Sue, and I was able to at least bounce some ideas off of Sue and get a lot of great feedback and things I never thought of before, and just really hone in on a business plan and strategy before I made the leap.
Okay, so you did do the whole business plan, right?
I did. It looks nothing like what actually happened, but yeah, I did put something together.
Okay, so how many versions did you go through before you had the quote-unquote final version?
I'm still getting to the final version, man.
I love that.
It's still being refined. Daily.
Okay, so Elifin, where did the name come from?
So, goes to the business plan. So,
right.
The business plan was originally, Elifin would be not geographically focused, not a certain property type focused. We would be a client-focused specialist firm that is specializing in working for financial institutions. So our name, Elite, E-L-I, Financial, F-I-N, Realty, Elite Financial Realty, Elifin. That's where, and then about a year in, 9 months in, it switched to, no, we're actually just gonna focus on Baton Rouge for now, Baton Rouge MSA, all types of commercial real estate property for all types of clients, and that's our thing.
Wow, so why Baton Rouge?
Because, why Baton Rouge for the firm?
Yeah, like why, where are you, we'll back up and we'll get to that question.
Yeah.
Where are you initially from? Where'd you grow up? Lafayette. Okay.
Lafayette. Mm-hmm.
So, when'd you make the shift to Baton Rouge?
For LSU.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what attracted you to LSU?
My friends were there. That was it. You know, I'm from Lafayette. I went to UL for a semester. I wanted to get away, but I still went back pretty much every weekend. Checked on my mom, cut my grandparents' grass till I was 25, and so being away, being able to spread my wings a little bit, but not being too far. I couldn't get back home.
Okay, so still within that kind of geographical circle of the hometown.
Yeah, but not to where if you go to the movies, your grandparents know about it, you know?
Yeah, or you see your cousin or something.
Right.
Okay, so what kind of kid were you growing up?
I was a great kid. I think I was a great kid. In high school, I was voted biggest procrastinator.
Okay,
that's always interesting. I was a little apathetic, a little rebellious to the system and to authority, but all around nice kid, very likable.
Yeah. Did you have like any lemonade stands growing up? Were you entrepreneurial at all?
No.
As a kid?
No. I wasn't. I really wasn't. I wasn't, man. And I think about that a lot. I'm like, because I listen to Gary Vee, and he's like, I was selling this and that. I'm like, man, that's not me.
Yeah.
That wasn't me. Not at all.
You weren't the sports car at the candy seller at the school.
Hell no. Or flipping stuff on eBay, or not at all.
You're just the rebellious kid cutting your grandparents' grass.
Just cutting my grandparents, just doing hard work, and I mean, I love money, I love money, love collecting money, but wasn't the constantly trying to sell things.
Gotcha. So now moving back to why Baton Rouge for the agency.
Yeah.
What in this market makes it so attractive?
Well, so I guess it's a little bit a matter of this is where I was,
Okay.
So as you build in the real estate industry, you build relationships, you build knowledge on property, like the geography, right? Who owns what, the dynamics of the market. And so you build up all this base of knowledge, and then so to move to another market, well, you lose a lot of that, right? You lose a lot of those relationships aren't as valuable that you created, right? Though that knowledge isn't as valuable as it was. So it just never made sense to move to another market because this is where I built a career.
And how do you see it as a market as a whole? Like how is the Baton Rouge market looking?
I see it as very attractive. A very attractive market for investment and for industry. And we got the state university, flagship university here. Got the state capitol here. Got a booming petrochemical industry here. Got a great medical corridor. We got a lot going for ourselves.
Okay, all right. So in the Baton Rouge scene, you're pretty big across a lot of social.
Huge.
You're huge.
Yeah.
Right. So how did you get involved with that?
With social media?
Yeah, because
just started posting.
Okay. So
that's it.
Where was your first post?
Where was my first post?
And
Facebook?
Do you still have it?
I have no idea. That's a great question. What was my first?
What was it? Can we find his first post?
That would
chance?
probably not be a good thing. It was probably, one of my first real estate posts. So I was at Keller Williams. I was just starting as an agent. I made my own Facebook page for Matthew Laborde, commercial real estate agent. And I remember editing my photo. I had a photo in a suit, and I edited out the background to a white background in Microsoft Paint. And I remember I did one paint mark in my hair to make it look like I got this crease, and I had buddies calling me just making fun of me, and we need to find that. I don't know if I deleted it or burned all, you know.
I'm gonna make it research.
That would be interesting if you could find that.
Okay.
That would be funny.
So you're all over Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Yes.
Did you take any like formal education on this, or where did you hear about it? Because it's not something that happens in all real estate or across all agencies even.
For sure.
I mean, they're kind of shy to post stuff unless it's a listing, or
especially in
it's
commercial.
an open house.
Especially in commercial.
Right.
Yeah, residential agents, you'll see them post all day.
Right.
I mean, but commercial agents, very hesitant to post. A lot of them will say, like, social media is not for me, like that's cute, but not really good for business.
Right.
I think two things that I've done is just one, be able to post, and two, somehow convince Chase to be on our team, which Chase is behind the camera right now. And Chase, so you said I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. So I only get on Facebook and LinkedIn, and Chase gets on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, and he keeps the content like flowing. And I think that's one of my secrets to success is Chase.
Chase. So it all revolves around Chase.
Yes, that is true. That is the truth.
So and we were talking beforehand, Chase and I, about the goal to get to that 100 pieces of content per day.
Yeah, are we there? Chase shook his head.
Okay, so we're not there yet, but I mean, what are you gonna post 100 pieces about?
100 pieces about, we have a lot to say, you know? We do a lot of things.
Right.
So, I think it's just, a lot of it's repetitive, right? Because when different people hear your message at a different time or in a different way, it resonates differently. So I think just keeping us top of mind by posting a lot of content is good. And I think we'll just post content that's true and authentic to ourselves, and then also adds value to, the person consuming it, hopefully.
Right, because you're posting, I was looking at it this morning in the past couple weeks, you're posting like strategic moves and like strategic topics that you're talking about, which some people might say, oh man, you're giving away like what they paid you for. So do you see that the return on providing so much information is not necessarily like taken away from you, but rather building your name up?
Absolutely. It's about building our brand.
Right.
Yeah, it's been huge. We've gotten a ton of visibility, leads, prospects from our social media presence. So it's us being a younger firm. It's totally been one of our huge competitive advantages, that we embrace social media and are just beating it like a drum and getting results from it.
Right. So do you see the results directly from your social?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of it is there's some directly from social, right? Someone said, you asked where you heard about Elifin from, and they said, I saw your Facebook post. That does happen. Most of it though is you're just top of mind for people, and so people end up calling you, referring you, whatever, because they're seeing your posts, they're seeing your activity, and when they're asked who, I'm opening a business, I need somebody to find me a new location. Well, they know, hey, you need to talk to these people at Elifin because they're doing some great things.
Okay, so now it's the new age word of mouth almost for you.
Yeah.
Because people are seeing that. And so is there any platform you won't go on?
No.
Okay. So you're like, are you looking into TikTok and how that kind of
Chase is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't made the leap, but I've looked at it, but I haven't posted anything.
Why not?
Just because I'm focused on what I'm doing.
Okay.
Chase is all over it though. Chase has posted stuff. George has posted stuff. But yeah.
Okay. So for any real estate agents that are wanting to do something not necessarily similar, but still wanting to get heavy into social, what would you recommend as their first steps to do?
Just post. post what you think would be valuable to your clients, to your prospective clients, and keep posting and see what kind of reactions you get.
Okay. And do you ever have like any writing block, like, oh, I don't know if this sounds good, or I don't know if it's gonna come across the way I want it to? Do you ever have that?
All the time. And then we'll see videos like this be posted, and I'll just cringe. I'll just be like, oh, I really don't want to listen to what I said there, or what I said there doesn't sound as smart as I wanted it to, or didn't come across as clearly as I wanted it to. But at the end of the day, that's why, for one, it helps to have Chase on the team, because he doesn't run it by me, before. I don't get to say, actually, can you edit that so I look a little bit better? You don't show my double chin or whatever it is.
Right.
No, just post it.
Okay.
Just post it.
How long did it take for you to get to let him be fully autonomous in that respect?
Chase is
just posting?
Autonomous by nature.
So from day one, he was like, "No, you're not getting the sign off. I'm posting what I think is gonna work."
He's just a fellow business owner, and he just knows. He just knows what he's doing. And when you're lucky enough to have somebody that talented on your team, you just let them do what they know how to do.
Okay. So when did you know it was time to hire somebody for your social?
Well, that's a good question. I think so. Before Chase, we had people help us out with it, like on a freelance type basis.
Okay.
And it was always very helpful, good, posted way more than I would have otherwise. And then it just came, that's how we kind of did the bridge between just us doing it, just me doing it, right? And then it was me and a freelancer, and then it was like, okay, well, here's what we could do if we had somebody like Chase on our team, and yeah, so that was like a stepping game.
And so how long did it take you to get from you posting it to where you're like, you started to see so much return value? Because people are scared to go out and hire somebody or start paying for ads if they don't see an immediate, return on it. So how long were you posting without return?
I think we saw, if you post interesting content or eye-catching content, you start to get feedback, almost instantly, I would say, especially if you post really valuable things and or really provoking things. So it's hard to say in return and money, and we don't really track it like that,
Well, not necessarily return on money, but return on engagement. Like,
Yeah.
When your first 10 or 20 posts, you had like 5 or 2 people like it or even see it.
Yeah.
And then you
I
started
don't think
getting to
that's
a
true.
level.
I don't think that's true. I don't think we did have 2 or 5 people.
Okay.
Maybe we did. I don't know. But maybe a less interesting post. Maybe a post about a property or something. But I think I've always, when I started the business, at the beginning, it was posts about me starting the business. And people, that gets a ton of engagement, right? People want to help, people want to congratulate, people want to get advice, whatever it is. And so those posts, that's kind of what I played on a little bit in the beginning, is look, I'm Matthew, from Facebook, your Facebook friend, right? And I'm a 27-year-old starting a new business in a firm, in a field that's dominated by older owners, and so it was unique, and people were engaged from the get-go for, I think, that reason.
Okay. And were they boosted from the get-go, or was it all just organic?
Organic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So why the suits every day?
Why the suits every day? I don't know if it's a complex that started because I was getting in the business at 19, but I just always felt like I needed to have the tie and everything to be taken seriously, and to put myself in the best position to be brought in any room, right? It was a big thing when I worked at another firm that I was always dressed ready to go, because a lot of times, the boss man, right, would pull people into the meetings, and if you were dressed in a t-shirt and or dressed like you got your khakis, your Sperry's, and your polo shirt, well, you might not get pulled in on the meeting with the CEOs you know, the local hospital system or whatever it is, right?
Right.
So you want to be dressed presentable so that that person calls on you. And I think that kind of got me into the routine. And then now it's just like putting on a uniform. You know, I wear the same suit 2 or 3 times in a week. You know, I just wear the same thing.
And so going into this industry at 19, like you said, did you ever have that age block that people didn't take you seriously or they questioned what you did because of your age?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, you know, I was just thinking about this today, that there was that block, but I was so hungry and aggressive. I was like a rabid dog, you know what I mean? I was like, I was able to break in only because I was so adamant and aggressive and persistent and to the point of being annoying about it.
Right.
To the point where you cannot ignore me, right? But of course, there's that initial brush off or whatever. But you just keep at it, and you got to be even more aggressive and even more hungry for it, because it's not going to be easy for those people to let you in, because they have that initial, oh, this person's young, doesn't know what they're doing, nice person, but nice kid, but doesn't have what it takes to get my commercial real estate deal done.
Right.
You got to be like, no, this I'm the one you want. Let me in. Give me a shot. I want this. I'm hungry. I'll do more. I'll go farther. You gotta just hammer.
Yeah, and I see that in your story, taking it back to when you wanted to work for free. You wanted to do anything and everything you could because you knew that space you had to get into.
That's it.
And so was there ever a point in time that you just wanted to throw in the towel?
Oh, dang. That's a deep question. Was there ever a time? I think so. You know, there was a time where at the beginning I was solely motivated by money.
Right.
You know, I was 100% wanted to make a ton of money and wanted to be rich and wanted to be the richest person in the world and all this stuff. And then, you know, I was, you know, still in college, early 22 something, making 6 figures, which was well in the 6 figures, which it was for that time period, that age, you know, a lot of money to me. And I realized, or way more money than I needed at the time, right, to cover my expenses, of course. And then I decided, like, I kind of got a taste for that money, and I realized this isn't that important, right? There's more important things in life. So it made me take a step back and like reevaluate everything and how I went about doing business and how I thought about it and my motivations and everything. So in that time period of like personal discovery, it you know, that I guess that kind of, you know, came to me like, hey, what's the point in all this? Why am I doing this? Some lazy spell. But anyway, you know, that's when you readjust and you see and you fix what's inside and make everything align, and then you get to a good place.
Right. It's finding that inner confidence or the inner self. Like, you know, I really want to do this because I want to help the people close the deals, not necessarily for the money at that point.
Something like that.
Okay. So in Baton Rouge, is there anything you would change about the ecosystem, about the environment?
Mm-hmm. Is there anything I would change? If I, yeah, I guess there was something I would change. I would change, so it's really segregated. Like if you look at a race map of Baton Rouge, you know, there's this map going around the internet. It is so segregated. And to me, that's really tough. And it's also segregated in terms of income, highly segregated in terms of income. So I would change that about Baton Rouge. I wish it were not like that. I wish it were more integrated.
Yeah. How do you see that? How do you see that being able to be accomplished?
I didn't say, you didn't say it had to be possible, right?
Right.
You didn't say it had to be possible.
But what?
I don't have an answer.
Well, is there any steps, or is there anything that can be done that you can think of, like, oh, step 1 is do this? You know, it may not solve it overall, but it's the move in the right direction.
I think maybe to a certain extent, eliminating zoning.
Okay.
And eliminating zoning, maybe just in certain areas. This is not a thought through plan, right, or anything I'm proposing, but Zoning has, density restrictions. And if you make places less dense, you make some places more expensive, right? So if you can add more units in certain neighborhoods, especially in the older parts of town, then you can lower the cost per unit. And you can make it more affordable for people to live there and all kinds of different people to live there. And so I think possibly the zoning and also fixing the schools and the school systems. So that's huge. Huge problem, right? And a lot of history behind it. But I think zoning and schools are the two things that could go at fixing the problem.
Okay, and so y'all go to a lot of the zoning meetings, right?
All of them.
So do you see any progress in that sense?
Well, that's not what really the planning and zoning meetings are about.
Okay.
The planning and zoning meetings are about, they do have the larger, hey, what's the zoning, code, and how's it written, and what are the nuances of it. But mostly it's about projects that are getting proposed,
Okay.
right? So I don't see any change in the zoning, or in what we just talked about with the zoning.
Right.
I don't see that ever happening. Well, I guess ever. I guess it's I don't see any kind of push for it.
Okay.
I don't see, besides in my head,
Yeah.
There's no people clamoring for it on either side of any issue, right?
Right.
Yeah,
So it sounds like you got to be the one to do that.
perhaps this is the start.
It's never too late to start, right?
That's right.
Best time to invest was 20 years ago. Second best time is now.
That's right, man.
Okay, so what would you give to anybody starting, whether it be a business or real estate in particular? What kind of those initial problems that you had that you could have avoided if you've known this?
Yeah, I don't know that I had that many problems. I think if I started today, I'd work at Elifin. If I was like young and hungry and like the top of the top,
Right.
I'd work at Elifin, because I know that what I was building would be respected and would be, I guess that the whole apparatus of the company would be behind me and working for me. I think what we're building here at Elifin is the firm that I wish I would have started at. The firm that I wish everything that I built was being supported by the company, right? When I would spend nights at the office, when I would, trying to get a proposal done for our firm's client, I wish all of that. I wish not only did I do that hard work, but the company also supported me and to get like the highest heights.
Right.
So if I was starting out in commercial real estate, I would definitely work at Elifin if I was a quality person. What else? I think just start now is some of the best advice I got is start now. You're not going to start with a secretary and a desk, right? Whatever way you can get your foot in the door, do it and start and get in with good people and learn as much as you can. Really, the good people part at the beginning doesn't even matter that much. Just learn as much as you can. You might learn a lot about what you shouldn't do, and then you'll figure it out and you'll gravitate towards good people. So,
Right.
just start now.
Okay, and is there any resources or anything that you would recommend people to, if they want to get into the commercial real estate space, check this piece out or check this
Yeah.
particular source out?
Yeah, there's a lot of good books out there. There are a lot of great people on social media. So if you go as far as books, there's a book called Brokers Who Dominate. There's a book called The Retail Leasing Playbook. There's a book called Value Added. There's two books called Value Added. Get the commercial real estate one. There's a book called To Be or Not to Be Intimidated. And there are a few other books out there that I can't remember. But also, the best resources are the commercial real estate brokers that are out there now. So find the top ones or find whatever. Find the top ones out there. Find me. My cell phone's all over the internet. And call us up and call till we answer, or we answer your call back, and schedule 15 minutes with us and pick our brain.
Okay, very cool. So
Yeah.
for people to find you, we're gonna link up all of that social. We're gonna link up all your.
If you
website,
can't find me, you just don't want to be in commercial real estate. Like, you don't belong here.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? We got a number on signs. We got numbers all over the internet. I'm all over social media. I mean, like, if you can't find my number, I almost say we shouldn't say it. I want to say it. We're gonna say it, but it's like, if you can't find my number, don't call. Like, you have nothing to call first off, but you don't want it bad enough.
Yeah. And is that something you kind of take into every single day? Is like, if there's this roadblock, like if you get to it, you're like, oh well, but you're more like, there's a roadblock. Okay, how do I get around it?
Yeah, if I want it,
right.
You know what I mean? If I want it, for sure. If I want it, it's like it's 100%. Every deal there's roadblocks, and it's always new and it's always unexpected, and that's one thing that makes this really interesting industry, is that you come to work and you don't really know exactly what's going to come up during the day, but you know that it's going to be something new. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to meet new people. You're going to use your brain and problem solving abilities to overcome it for the client and hopefully make a deal happen.
I love it. So what does a typical day look like for you?
Typical day, I'll wake up around 5-ish, somewhere between 4:45 to 5:45. I will immediately take out my phone in bed, start looking at my phone, looking at emails. I'll check how many website visitors we had from the previous day. I'll check how many Google searches are going for Elifin Realty. I will check all kinds of random things that I shouldn't be checking at 5, 6 in the morning. And then I'll get ready and I'll get to the office usually between 6:30 and 7:30. And then from 10 a.m. to 9, 10 a.m., I'll make prospecting calls. So I'm calling different owners of commercial real estate or people we want to do business with. And then after that, I've got, the mornings when I'm the sharpest. So I've got, things that require my focus. I'll have pipeline meetings with an agent, or I'll have, I'll review a lease agreement, or I will have a, pitch meeting with a client. Then lunch, usually I'm with a client, not with a client, I'm usually with a vendor or at a small group presence meeting, which is like a Rotary meeting or a nonprofit board meeting, or I'll just eat at my desk. Then after, usually in the afternoon is my slower meetings. It's people that want to buy something from me, or the person who wants 15 minutes to talk about what's it like in commercial real estate, or whatever doesn't require so much problem solving and all this stuff. I'll also be doing work on different things throughout the day. Then 5, 6 o'clock, I'll then usually go to an evening function, which might be a nonprofit board meeting, might be a networking meeting, might be a whole host of things, and then I'll go to sleep. Hopefully by 9, definitely by 10.
I love it.
Yeah.
So from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, you're running at it.
We're getting it, for sure.
Love it. Awesome.
Yeah.
So any last parting words for people listening?
Parting words. I don't think so. No, I think we said everything I need to say.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Matthew, so very much for coming on the show.
Thanks for coming, man.
I really appreciate your time very much, and I love what you're doing here, and I love following you and seeing what you're doing all around Baton Rouge.
I appreciate it, man.
So,
it means a lot.
Well, thank you, and don't ever slow down.
All right, you either.
So everybody listening, this is the Patty G Show. Thank you so very much for taking your time out of your busy day to listen to the show. And if you like the show, be sure to share, like, and subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks.